Eli Carter's feet were bare and brown with dust. Every morning, they carried him through the city streets like two small soldiers marching into battle. Today was no different. The sun was just waking up, painting the sky orange and pink. Eli clutched his bucket of soapy water in one hand and a worn-out rag in the other. His stomach growled like an angry cat, but he smiled anyway. Smiling was free, and it sometimes helped people give him coins. "Clean your car, mister." Eli called out to a man in a gray suit. The man waved him away without even looking. Eli didn't let it bother him. He had learned a long time ago that some people looked right through street kids like they were ghosts. But Eli was no ghost. He was 10 years old, strong and determined. He had to be. His mother, Tanya, was waiting at home in their tiny room with the leaky roof. She was sick again, and medicine cost money. The street was waking up too. Cars honked. People rushed past carrying briefcases and coffee cups. The smell of fresh bread floated from the bakery on the corner, making Eli's stomach growl even louder. He pushed the hunger down deep inside where it couldn't bother him and kept walking. That's when he saw it. A long, shiny black car pulled up to the curb near the hospital. It gleamed like a dark mirror under the morning sun. Eli's eyes grew wide. A car like that meant money. Rich people. Maybe today would be a good day after all. He hurried over, his bare feet slapping against the warm pavement. But as he got closer, something made him slow down. The back door of the car opened, and a man stepped out. He was tall, wearing an expensive suit that probably cost more than Eli's whole life. His face looked tired and worried, like he carried heavy rocks in his pockets. Then Eli saw the boy. The man reached back into the car and helped a small child climb out. The boy was maybe 5 years old, dressed in a bright blue suit that looked too fancy for a kid. But it was his eyes that made Eli stop walking altogether. The boy wore thick bandages wrapped around his head, covering his eyes completely. He held on to the tall man's hand tightly, like he was afraid of falling off the edge of the world. "Careful, Liam," the man said softly. His voice was gentle, but Eli could hear the sadness hiding underneath. Liam. So that was the boy's name. Eli watched as the man guided Liam toward the hospital entrance. The boy moved slowly, carefully, feeling the ground with each step. He couldn't see anything. He was blind. Something squeezed inside Eli's chest. He knew what it felt like to be scared. He knew what it felt like when the world seemed dark and impossible. But at least Eli could see. At least he had that. He was about to turn away when something amazing happened. A street musician started playing a guitar nearby. The music was cheerful and bouncy, like sunshine turned into sound. And then the musician's little dog started barking and running in circles, chasing its own tail. Eli couldn't help it. He laughed. It wasn't a quiet laugh either. It was a big, joyful laugh that burst out in like fireworks. It was the kind of laugh that made other people want to laugh too, even if they didn't know what was funny. And that's when Liam stopped walking. The blind boy turned his head toward the sound of Eli's laughter. Even though bandages covered his eyes, Eli could tell Liam was listening hard, like he was trying to see with his ears. "Dad," Liam whispered, tugging on the tall man's hand. "What's that sound?" "What sound, son?" The man looked around, confused. "That happy sound. It sounds like sunshine." Eli's heart jumped. Nobody had ever called his laugh sunshine before. The tall man, Liam's father, looked over and spotted Eli. His expression changed immediately. His eyes went cold and suspicious. He pulled Liam closer, like Eli was dangerous. "It's nothing, Liam. Just a street kid. Come on, we'll be late for your appointment." But Liam didn't move. He kept his head turned toward Eli, and a small smile appeared on his face. It was the first time he had smiled all morning. "I want to meet the sunshine boy," Liam said quietly. "No, Liam, we have to." "Please, Dad, just for a minute. Please." Something in Liam's voice must have melted his father's hard heart, because the man sighed heavily. He looked at Eli with narrow, warning eyes. "You, boy, come here, but don't try anything." Eli set down his bucket and walked over slowly. His heart was pounding. He had never been this close to such rich people before. Up close, He could see that Liam's father had lines around his eyes, like he'd been sad for a very long time. "Hi," Eli said softly to Liam. "My name is Eli." Liam's smile grew bigger. "I'm Liam. Why were you laughing?" "There's a funny dog over there chasing his tail. He keeps falling over." "I wish I could see him," Liam said, and his smile faded a little. Eli's throat felt tight. He wanted to help somehow, but how could he? He was just a street kid with nothing but a bucket and a rag. "What's wrong with your eyes?" Eli asked. Liam's father answered, his voice sharp. "He has glaucoma. The pressure damaged his eyes. He had surgery yesterday to try to fix it, but the doctors aren't sure if it worked. Now, if you'll excuse us—" "Wait," Eli said suddenly. An idea was forming in his head. A crazy, wild idea. Can I help?" Liam's father laughed, but it wasn't a kind laugh. "Help? You're a street child with dirty hands. My son needs real doctors, not—" "Michael," a woman's voice called from the hospital entrance. A nurse was waving. Dr. Reeves can see Liam now. Michael, so that was the father's name, looked relieved. "We have to go, Liam." But as they started to walk away, Liam turned his bandaged face back toward Eli. "Will you be here tomorrow, sunshine boy?" Eli felt something warm spread through his chest. "Yes, I'll be here." "Promise?" "I promise." And as Eli watched them disappear into the hospital, he made a decision. Tomorrow, he would find a way to bring real sunshine into Liam's dark world. He didn't know how yet, but he would figure it out. Because if a blind boy could hear sunshine and a laugh, then maybe, just maybe, miracles were possible after all. The morning sun climbed higher in the sky, and Eli picked up his bucket. He had work to do and money to earn. But for the first time in a long time, hope walked beside him on the dusty street. Tomorrow couldn't come fast enough. Eli barely slept that night. He lay on the thin mattress beside his mother in their small room, staring at the ceiling where moonlight leaked through the cracks. His mind raced with thoughts of Liam, the boy who couldn't see but could hear sunshine. "What's bothering you, baby?" his mother whispered in the darkness. Even sick, Tanya always knew when something occupied her son's heart. "Mama, if someone can't see, can you help him see again?" Tanya was quiet for a moment. "Sometimes doctors can." "Why do you ask?" "I met a boy today. A blind boy. He needs help." His mother's hand found his in the darkness and squeezed gently. "You have a good heart, Eli. But be careful. Some people don't understand kindness from children like us." Eli thought about Michael's cold eyes and suspicious stare. "I know, Mama, but I made a promise." When morning came, Eli was already awake. He washed his face and hands extra carefully, scrubbing under his nails until they were as clean as possible. He wanted to look his best for Liam. The walk to the hospital felt longer than usual. What if Liam didn't come? What if his father wouldn't let them talk? What if Eli couldn't help at all? But when he rounded the corner near the hospital, his heart leaped. The shiny black car was already there. Liam sat on a bench outside the hospital entrance with his father standing guard beside him like a soldier. The bandages were still wrapped around Liam's eyes, but today they looked different, looser, like someone had changed them. "Ellie!" Liam's face turned toward the sound of footsteps. "Is that you?" "It's me." Eli called back, breaking into a run. Michael immediately stepped between them, his hand up like a stop sign. "That's close enough." Eli skidded to a halt, his bare feet kicking up dust. But Liam was already smiling, and that made everything worth it. "Dad, please, let him come closer. He promised he'd be here." Michael's jaw tightened. "Liam, we've talked about this. We don't know this boy. He could be—" "He's my friend," Liam said quietly, but with surprising strength. "My only friend who doesn't feel sorry for me." Something flickered across Michael's face. Surprise? Pain? Eli couldn't tell. But slowly, carefully, Michael stepped aside. Eli approached the bench and sat down next to Liam, leaving space between them so Michael wouldn't worry. "How are your eyes?" Eli asked. Liam's small shoulders sagged. "The doctor said the surgery worked a little bit, but there's still too much gunk and pressure. My eyes hurt, and everything is still dark. Dad says we have to wait and see if they get better. Gunk. Eli tilted his head. Like stuff on your eyes? Around them, Michael corrected stiffly. Discharge and swelling from the surgery. It's normal. The doctors are monitoring it. But something clicked in Eli's mind. He thought about all the times his mother had cleaned his scrapes and cuts with water. She always said keeping wounds clean helped him heal faster. Can I see? Eli asked. Absolutely not, Michael said immediately. Dad, please. I want him to. With a heavy sigh that sounded like defeat, Michael knelt down and carefully loosened the bandages around Liam's eyes. Eli leaned in to look. Liam's eyelids were puffy and red. Crusty yellow stuff clung to his eyelashes. His eyes were closed, but even Eli could tell they looked uncomfortable and dirty. Does it hurt? Eli asked softly. A lot, Liam admitted. It feels hot and itchy. Eli looked at his bucket, sitting a few feet away. The same bucket he used to clean car windows. The same water, fresh and clean that morning. An idea sparked his mind like a match striking. I could clean them, Eli said. Michael stood up so fast he almost knocked over the bench. Are you insane? You're a street child with no medical training. My son needs. He needs someone to care, Eli interrupted, surprised by his own bravery. The doctors are doing their part, but right now his eyes are dirty and hurting. I have clean water and a soft rag. I won't touch his actual eyes, just the outside, just to make him comfortable. Michael stared at Eli like he had grown a second head. You want to clean my son's surgical wounds with street water and a car washing rag? It's clean water, sir. I filled it fresh this morning from the fountain, and I washed my rag last night. Eli's voice was steady, even though his hands were shaking. I'm not trying to be a doctor. I'm just trying to be a friend. The silence stretched long and uncomfortable. A bird chirped somewhere above them. Cars whooshed past on the street. Let him try, Dad, Liam whispered. Please. It can't hurt worse than it already does. Michael looked torn, like he was fighting a war inside himself. Finally, he closed his eyes and nodded once. Fine, but I'm watching every second. And if I see anything I don't like, you stop immediately. Eli's heart raced as he retrieved his bucket and rag. He squeezed out the excess water carefully, making sure the rag was damp but not dripping. His hands were steadier now, guided by purpose. This might feel a little cold, Eli warned gently. Okay, Liam said, his voice small but trusting. Eli started at the corner of Liam's left eye, dabbing softly at the crusty buildup. He worked slowly, carefully, the way his mother cleaned his scrapes. The warm water loosened the dried discharge, and it came away on the cloth. How does that feel? Eli asked. Good, Liam breathed. Really good. It's not as hot anymore. Michael watched with hawk eyes, but he didn't stop Eli. Maybe he could see what Eli saw, that this wasn't about medicine or science. This was about one human being gentle with another. Eli moved to the right eye, working with the same careful patience. More gunk came away. Liam's eyelids looked less swollen, less angry. The redness was still there, but the pain lines around Liam's mouth started to relax. Almost done, Eli murmured, dabbing at the last crust. And then something incredible happened. As Eli finished cleaning, Liam's eyelids fluttered. Then slowly, carefully, they opened, just a crack at first. Liam squinted like the morning sun was too bright. But then his eyes opened wider, and he gasped. I see light, Liam whispered, his voice full of wonder. I see colors. Michael dropped to his knees beside his son. Liam, what do you see? Your face, Dad. It's blurry, but I can see your face. Tears started running down Liam's cheeks. Happy tears that mixed with the clean water on his skin. And the sky. It's blue. The whole world is blue and bright, and he turned toward Eli. You're golden. Your skin is gold in the sunshine. Eli felt his own eyes burning with tears. You can really see me? Yes. Liam laughed through his tears. I can see the sunshine, boy. Michael's face transformed completely. The hard, suspicious lines melted away. His eyes filled with tears that he didn't try to hide. He looked at Eli, really looked at him for the first time. You. Michael's voice cracked. You gave my son his sight back. No, sir, Eli said quietly. The doctors did that with their surgery. I just cleaned away what was blocking his view. But they both knew it was more than that. It was about caring when no one expected it. It was about a barefoot boy with nothing who gave everything that mattered. Michael reached out and did something Eli never expected. He pulled Eli into a hug. A real hug. The kind of hug that said, thank you, and I'm sorry, and you matter all at once. When Michael pulled back, his eyes were serious. What's your name? Your full name? Eli Carter, sir. Where do you live, Eli? Eli hesitated. He didn't want to admit the truth. The tiny room, the leaky roof, the sickness. But something in Michael's eyes made him brave. Rosewood Street, number 42. It's not much. Just me and my mama. Michael nodded slowly, like he was memorizing every word. I want to meet your mother. Fear shot through Eli. Why? We didn't do anything wrong. No, Michael interrupted gently. You did everything right. And I want to do something right, too. For the boy who brought sunshine back into my son's life. Liam grabbed Eli's hand with both of his. His eyes were still blurry and watery, but they were open. They were seeing. Will you come visit me? Liam asked, will you be my real friend? Eli looked at this rich boy with his fancy suit and his powerful father. He looked at his own bare feet and worn clothes. They were from completely different worlds, but friends in need to match. Friends just needed to care. Yes, Eli promised. I'll be your real friend. And as the morning sun climbed higher, 3 people sat on that bench outside the hospital. A millionaire who had forgotten how to trust, a blind boy learning to see, and a street kid who was about to discover that the biggest miracles don't come from money or medicine. They come from hearts brave enough to be kind. 3 days later, Michael's shiny black car pulled up in front of number 42 Rosewood Street. The neighborhood was nothing like his world of tall buildings and clean sidewalks. Here, the houses leaned against each other like tired old friends. Laundry hung on lines between windows. Children played barefoot in the street, kicking a half-flat soccer ball. Liam pressed his face against the car window, his healing eyes wide with curiosity. He could see better now, not perfectly, but enough to watch the world come alive in colors and shapes. That's where Eli lives. Liam asked. According to the address he gave me, Michael answered. His voice was nervous. He had made billion-dollar business deals without breaking a sweat, but visiting a street kid's home made his heart pound. They climbed out of the car. Neighbors stared. A black car like that didn't belong here, and everyone knew it. Michael knocked on the door of number 42. The paint was peeling, and he could hear water dripping somewhere inside. His chest tightened. Eli lived here? This boy who had given his son such a precious gift lived in a place like this? The door opened slowly. A woman stood there, thin and tired-looking, with Eli's same warm brown eyes. She wore a faded dress and held onto the doorframe like she needed its support. Can I help you? Her voice was wary. Mrs. Carter? I am Michael Hartman. This is my son, Liam. We're looking for Eli. Tanya's eyes widened. She recognized the name. Eli had talked about nothing else for days. Eli's at the corner, trying to earn money for her. She stopped, embarrassed. He'll be back soon. Nana. Eli's voice came from behind them. He was running up the street, his bucket sloshing water. Mama, why is the black car? He stopped when he saw them. Liam? Mr. Hartman? Liam broke free from his father's hand and ran to Eli, throwing his arms around him. Eli, I can see you, really see you. Eli hugged him back, grinning wide, but his eyes kept darting to his mother, worried. Why had they come? Michael cleared his throat. Mrs. Carter, may we come inside? I'd like to talk to you about your son. Tanya's face went pale. He didn't do anything wrong, I promise. Eli's a good boy. I know he is, Michael interrupted gently. That's exactly why I'm here. Inside the tiny room, there was barely space for everyone. One mattress on the floor, a small stove in the corner, a bucket catching drips from the ceiling. Michael's expensive shoes looked wrong on the cracked floor, but he didn't seem to notice. He was watching Eli and Liam, who had already sat down and started talking like they'd been friends forever. "Mrs. Carter," Michael began, sitting carefully on the only chair, "your son did something remarkable for Liam. He gave him hope when I had almost given up. He showed kindness when he had every reason to think only of himself." Tanya's hand went to her throat. "Eli told me. I'm glad he could help. I want to help you now." Michael pulled out an envelope. "This is for you. For medicine, for food, for whatever you need." Tanya stared at the envelope like it might bite her. I can't accept charity." "It's not charity," Michael said firmly. "It's gratitude. But there's more." He turned to Eli. "Son, how old are you?" 10, sir." "Do you go to school?" Eli's face fell. He looked at his bare feet. "No, sir. We can't afford it. I have to work." Michael nodded slowly, like he expected this answer. "What if I told you that you could go to school? A good school. One of the best in the city." Eli's head snapped up. "Me? Go to school?" "Yes. I own several businesses. And one thing I've learned is that true intelligence doesn't come from money. It comes from here." Michael tapped his chest. "You have something special, Eli. Vision. Not the kind that comes from eyes, but the kind that comes from a heart. I want to give you the chance to grow that gift." Tears started rolling down Tanya's cheeks. "You would do that? For us?" "I would do that for the boy who saved my son," Michael said. His own voice was thick with emotion. "But I have one condition." The room went silent. Here it comes, Eli thought. The catch. Liam needs to continue his recovery. His sight is better, but not perfect. The doctors say he needs therapy, exercises, and constant care. Michael looked between Eli and Liam. "I want you to be part of that, Eli. I want you to visit Liam, to encourage him, to be his friend through this journey. Not because I'm paying you. Friendship can't be bought, but because I believe you two need each other." Liam jumped up. "Yes, please, Eli. You could come to my house. We could play games and read books and..." "Read." Eli's voice was small. "I don't know how to read." "Then I'll teach you," Liam said excitedly. "The doctors gave me big letter books to practice seeing with. We can learn together." Eli looked at his mother. Tanya was crying openly now, but smiling through her tears. She nodded. "Okay, Eli whispered." Then louder, "Okay, yes." The two boys hugged again, laughing and jumping. Michael and Tanya watched them, and something passed between the two adults, an understanding that their lives had just changed forever. Over the next few months, miracles became normal. Eli started school. The first day, Michael drove him there personally and bought him new shoes. Real shoes that fit perfectly. Eli cried when he put them on. He studied hard, harder than anyone else in his class. Reading was difficult at first, but Liam kept his promise. During weekend visits to the Hartman mansion, the boys sat together with giant picture books, Liam practicing his focusing exercises, while Eli learned his letters. Tanya got better. With money for proper medicine and food, her strength returned. Michael offered her a job managing one of his company's community programs. "Who better to help people in need," he said, "than someone who's been there?" Liam's sight improved slowly but steadily. It would never be perfect. The doctors were honest about that. But he could see colors, faces, and the world around him. Most importantly, he could see his best friend smile. 1 year after that fateful morning outside the hospital, the four of them sat together in the Hartman family's garden. Eli wore his school uniform proudly. Liam was reading aloud from a book, without any help. Tanya and Michael talked quietly about the new community center they were planning. "Dad," Liam looked up from his book, "are we rich?" Michael smiled. "Yes, son, we have money. That's not what makes us rich," Liam said wisely. He pointed at Eli. "He makes us rich. And Tanya. And love. That's the real treasure, right?" Michael's eyes grew misty. He looked at Eli, the barefoot boy who had become like a second son, the street kid who had taught a millionaire what truly mattered. You're absolutely right, Liam, Michael said. You're absolutely right. Eli leaned back in his chair, feeling the warm sunshine on his face. A year ago, he had been scraping by with a bucket and a dream. Now he had a family, not a normal family, but a real one built from kindness and courage. He thought about that morning when he had laughed at a silly dog, and a blind boy had heard sunshine. How one small moment had changed everything. How helping someone else had saved his own life, too. What are you thinking about? Liam asked. Eli grinned. I'm thinking that miracles are real, and they don't come from magic or money. They come from caring about people, even when you're supposed to walk away. Tanya reached over and squeezed her son's hand. Michael ruffled Liam's hair. And in that garden, where flowers bloomed in every color, for people it started as strangers sat together as family. Because that's what happens when you choose kindness over fear. That's what happens when you see with your heart, instead of just your eyes. That's what happens when a street kid with nothing gives everything that matters, and discovers that love multiplies when you share it. The sun climbed higher in the sky, painting everything gold. And somewhere in the city, another child with bare feet and a brave heart was probably walking down another street, carrying another bucket, waiting for their own miracle to begin. Because miracles are always possible. You just have to be willing to laugh, to care, and to believe. Did this story touch your heart? If Eli and Liam's journey move you, hit that like button to spread their message of kindness. Share this story with someone who needs to remember that miracles come from caring, not from money. And subscribe so you never miss another story about courage, hope, and the power of unlikely friendships. Drop a comment below telling us, what act of kindness changed your life? Let's build a community where everyone can be a sunshine boy or girl. Remember, you don't need to be rich to make someone's world brighter. You just need to care. From all of us, thank you for reading, and may you find your own miracles in unexpected places.